In this video, we are going to talk about more word problems. But the good news is that we already know to have them. We already know how to solve them once we have them set up, because we're just going to be using either substitution or elimination. So the big part that I'm focusing on in this lesson is setting up the word problems. So on our first example, it says we have a total of 1,096 people going to this concert. There are reserved seats, which cost $25 each, and unreserved seats, which cost $20 each. If $26,170 was collected, how many of each ticket were sold? All right, so I'm going to say X is going to stand for the reserved seats, and Y is going to stand for the unreserved seats. It is important that you let everybody know what your variables stand for. So yes, you must write down what X stands for and what Y stands for. Now, when we're making the two equations, in this problem, our first equation is going to deal with money. So how much are reserved seats? Well, they are 25x plus unreserved is 20y equals how much did we collect? $26,170. Now my second equation, this one is going to deal with, instead of dealing with money, this one is going to deal with number of people. And if I used a number in my first equation, I am not allowed to reuse that number in my second equation. Okay, you can only use the numbers in one of the equations, not both. So for this one, all I know is a total of 1,096 people went. I have no idea how many set in reserved and how many set in unreserved. So all I know is reserved people plus unreserved people has to equal 1,096. So I would say X plus Y equals 1,096. So those are my two equations. Now we're just going to use what we've been talking about in the past to solve them. So I'm going to do elimination, and I am going to choose to get rid of X. So if I want to get rid of X, I have to multiply the bottom one by negative 25. So that will give me top one, stay the same, don't do anything to it, boom. The bottom one, multiply each one by negative 25, and I get negative 25x minus 25y equals negative 27,400. Add your columns and your x's go away, bye. And your y's, so I'll get negative 5y equals negative 1,230. Divide both sides by negative 5, and I get 246 people had unreserved seats. So now let's figure out how many had reserved. So plug in 246 for Y. So X plus 246 equals 1,096. Subtract the 246 over, and I get 850. So 246 people had unreserved. And 850 people had reserved. Okay, let's try another. On this one, let's say somebody got into their piggy bank and it says Laura has $4.50 and it's only made up of dimes and quarters. And then she has 3 more dimes than she does have quarters. So how many of each kind of coin do we have? Okay, so on this problem, I'm going to let x equal dimes, and I'm going to let y equal quarters. Now, our first equation is going to deal with money again. Okay, now this one is a little bit tricky because most people just want to say x plus y. But if I'm talking money, I'm talking the value of each coin. So what is a dime worth? And hopefully everybody says, oh, a dime is worth 10 cents. So you would write that as 0.10x. So remember, a dime is 10 cents. Plus, well, what's a quarter worth? A quarter is worth 25 cents. So you would write that as 0.25y equals how much money do we have altogether? $4.50. So that was a little tricky because they don't give you the value of the coins because they expect you to know that. So now let's just talk about the number of coins. Okay? So right now, I'm just going to make a little visual here off to the side. It says we have 3 more dimes than quarters. So is everyone okay with saying more dimes and less quarters? So I'm going to put dimes up in the air and quarters down below it. So if I want them to be equal, which one would I have to add the 3 to? And hopefully everybody says, oh, well, you should add 3 to the one that you have less of so that you can make them equal. So dimes is x. So x equals quarters plus 3, and quarters is y. So y plus 3. So remember, if you want to know who to add to, you always add to the one that you have less of. Now this problem, this one is geared for substitution. So I'm going to take y plus 3 and I'm going to plug it in for x. So I get 10 cents, open my parentheses, y plus 3 plus 25 cents y equals $4.50. Distribute 10 cents y plus 30 cents plus 25.25y equals $4.50. Add like terms, and you get 0.35y plus 0.3 equals $4.50. Subtract the 0.3, and that will give you 0.35y equals 4.2. Divide both sides by 0.35 and you get y to equal 12. So now I can substitute that back in. So x plus, let me back that up a minute here. X equals y, which is 12, plus 3. So x equals 15. So we will have 15 dimes and 12 quarters. Okay, the next one, we're going to talk about perimeter. And since we're talking about perimeter, we're talking about length and width. So I'm going to let x equal the length, and I'm going to let y equal the width. How do you find perimeter? Well, if you don't remember, let's write it down. Perimeter, you add all the sides. And does everybody remember the top and the bottom are the same, and the left and the right are the same? So my first equation is going to deal with just perimeter. So that would be 2x plus 2y equals 56. Because remember, top and bottom are the same, so that's 2x. Left and right are the same, that's 2y. And then they tell you the perimeter, which is 56. So now if I read on, it says length. Well, length is x. Is stands for equals 8 more than the width. Well, more stands for addition. So that would be width, which is y, plus 8. And then once again, this one is set up for substitution. So I'm going to take y plus 8 and substitute it in for x. So 2 parentheses y plus 8 plus 2y equals 56. Distribute. 2y plus 16 plus 2y equals 56. Combine like terms. 4y plus 16 equals 56. Subtract 16 on both sides. 4y equals 40. Divide both sides by 4 and you come up with y equals 10. So then I'm going to pick the bottom one to sub it in for. So x equals 10 plus 8. So x equals 18. So remember, x is the length. So the length is 18 feet. Remember, here's our label, feet. And then the width is 10 feet. All right, one more. On this last one, it says 3 times the first number minus 2 times the second number. So we're talking about a first number and a second number. So I'm going to let x be my first number, and I'm going to let y equal my second number. So 3 times the first number. Well, that would be 3 times x, so 3x. Minus means subtraction. 2 times the second number would be 2 times y. Don't forget, it stands for equals 27. The next sentence, 2 times the first number, so that's 2x, plus, so plus, 5 times the second, so 5y, is stands for equals -1. So now let's say we want to cancel out y. So if I want to cancel out y, I'm going to multiply the top one by 5 and the bottom one by 2. So that will give me 15x minus 10y equals 135. On the bottom, multiply that, and I get 4x plus 10y equals -2. Add, and I get 19x. Y's are gone. Boom. 135 minus 2 is 133. And then you're going to take your calculator and you're going to divide both sides by 19. And 133 divided by 19 is 7. So now I'm going to plug it into the bottom one. So 2 times 7 plus 5y equals -1. So 14 plus 5y equals -1. Subtract the 14 over, so 5y equals -15. Divide both sides by 5 and get -3. So the first number is 7. The second number is -3. Okay, on the back of the notes, these are the ones that I want you to try on your own for your assignment, and we will talk about them when I see you next.